In this session, I'm going to continue on Anova. I intentionally inflated dispersion of number of traffic tickets for white subsample and black subsample to show you the importance of between group variance and within group variance. And because of this inflation of dispersion, you see a larger circle for white and black subsamples. And their central tendencies are the same as they were in the first scenario. That's why they're intact and they're in the same location here. And these dotted lines indicate that they're in the same location. And your grand mean is also in the same location. Now, let's think about the formula for F value. It is between group variance divided by within group variance. So let's talk about each of them. Between group variance is again totality of distance between subsample means and grand means. So grand mean is here and subsample means are here. So totality of distances are this plus this plus this. And how about here? Because they're in the same location, the distance or the totality of the distance is still the same. This distance is just as this, and this distance is just as this. Again, the dispersion has changed, so the size of circle has changed, but the central tendency, especially the distance of the each subsample's mean from grand mean, is still the same. So between group variance is intact. And how about within group variance? How about within group variance of white subsample? How about black subsample? They have gotten a lot larger. That's why this one has increased in the second scenario. How about Latino subsample? Is still the same as it was in the first scenario, but we're looking at again totality of within group variance, meaning that this dispersion plus this dispersion plus this dispersion. So as the rule of division indicates, if you have a larger denominator, then your value decreases. So if you compare the F value calculated in a second scenario, this F value is smaller than this F value here. So that's the power of between group variance and within group variance, and how this F value can be determined by the change in the dispersion. And in the next scenario, I'm going to talk about a change in a central tendency. And let's talk about this. In this case, your dispersion remains the same for all subsamples, but except for black subsample, Latino and white subsample has changed its central tendency. So white subsamples mean number of traffic tickets has gotten lower if you compare to the second and first scenario. It has gotten lower. This is white subsamples mean. And your black subsamples mean remains the same. And your Latino subsamples mean has gotten bigger. So this is mean number of traffic tickets for Latino subsample. And how would you even illustrate it in a diagram? You can do it like this. Now this is your white subsample central tendency. This is your black subsamples central tendency, which is still the same. And now this is your Latino subsamples central tendency. Now try to imagine this. and your dispersion remains the same. It remains the same as they were in the first scenario. Now let me draw this in a diagram. So because your dispersions are the same, so it's going to be the same circle size for all subsamples. And same as this one. Now let's think about the formula again, F value formula, which was between group variance divided by within group variance. And your grand mean, unless we specify it somewhere, is still the same as this location. And let's talk about the distances between grand mean and subsample means. Compared to this, and this, and total of these, how about this and this, which is same as here, and this? The distance between white subsample mean and grand mean has increased a lot, and distance between Latino subsample mean and grand mean has increased a lot as well. So your between group variance has increased a lot. How about your within group variance? Totality of this dispersion, and this dispersion, they are all same. The circles are in a different location, but the size of circle has remained the same across all subsamples. So this is intact. This has inflated or increased or escalated the F value. So what you're looking at is between the first scenario and third scenario, this F value has increased a lot. Now I'm going to explain the interpretation of F value in the next session.